during Leila Seder, we are saying basically most of the Haggadah back and forth, either on the wine or on the matzah. So it says, usually it says in the Haggadah Shel Pesach, when you're saying it on the matzah, you put the wine away. You either pick up the matzah, depends on your minhag, or you uncover the matzah. And when you say something like V'hisha Omdo or other things, when you say on the wine, then it says cover the matzah, put it down the matzah. So as I mentioned already, that the union of matzah and wine, which is the main ingredients, the main thing we do, the Leila Seder, it's come to as a tikkun for Chet Etz Hadas. And by Etz Hadas, the main two opinions, whether it was grape wine, so that's why we do the arba koises, the tikkun for that. And we said if it was the chita, the grain, that said that's the matzah. We do tikkun with the matzah, and that's why also according to the Zohar, the matzah called mechel de memunusa or mechel de asusa, either meichel, food of emuna or food of refuah. They both correspond to that chet etzadas. If we're going to say the etzadas, what that Odom Arishon was poigim in his das, that he was not allowed to eat from etzadas, so we have to go to etzachaim above the etzadas, which is that's in of emuna. Emuna, it's you connect mamash to Hashem. Hashem is chaya chaim. And also the Meichel HaRefuah to the tshuva for what they did. That's Meichel HaRefuah. They're doing tshuva for that Aveira. Either way, so like I said, we're doing either something we're doing on the matzah, so we're saying on the matzah, something on the wine. And it says over there, when we have to cover the matzah, when we say something on the wine, it says, Shelo yireh pas es boshtoi. The bread, the matzah should not see its shame. And the Tur brings this from the Yerushalmi and Hilchas Shabbos. He brings that when we say kiddush on the wine on Friday night, we have to cover the challah. There's few reasons. One of the reasons is that he brings from the Yerushalmi again the bread should not see its shame. Now, what's the shame for the bread to see it? We're doing kiddush on the wine because by the Shiva Samini we're saying eret chitos oira v'gefen. The first one is chito, is the bread, and you're skipping, you're saying the kiddush not on the bread, saying on the third one, gefen is the third one. So we're covering it. The bread should not have the shame. So we see from him amazing things that. The bread doesn't understand anything, doesn't have a heart, doesn't have a brain, doesn't have any understanding. We still worry the bread not to shame the bread. So how much more when we're coming to people, we have to be very careful. Sometimes we're doing it without paying attention, or sometimes we're doing it and we don't understand the severity of shaming somebody. I was going to go quickly. There's a Gemara in Sanhedrin, the end of Daf Yud Amud Beis. The Gemara says, Ton Rabbanan, En Ma'abrim es Hashona Ela B'Muzumonim. So we see illustration for how people were careful with that union of shaming somebody. The Gemara says over there, we don't do the leap year Ela B'Muzumonin law, meaning we have to appoint people before. We're going to say tomorrow we're going to sit on the Beis Din and we're going to discuss the if we're going to do a leap year or not. Ma'itzav Rabban Gamliel Shomar Hashkimuli Shiva Aliyah. Rabban Gamliel says, make sure we have 7 people in Aliyah, meaning in the upper floor in the Beis Din. Over there we're going to discuss if we're going to make this year a leap year. Hishkim Motza Shmoina. He came to the Beis Din and he found over there 8 people. He asked for 7. So, Amar Miu Sh'olo Sh'lo Birshus. Yered, whoever came over here without permission, because we have to have appointed people and 7, so whoever came without permission should go down. Amar Shmuel HaKoton, V'Omar Aniu Sh'lo Birshus. He says, I was the one came over here without permission, I was not invited. I didn't come as the Dayanim that they're going to make. They want to make the decision if it's going to be a leap year or not. I came over just to see how you guys doing this debate and how you're deciding to make a leap year. I want to learn. I want to see firsthand and learn. Omar Loy, Rabban Gamliel told him, Shev b'ni Shev, my son, you sit down. You don't go down. Re'uyas kalashonim kulan lisabar al yotcha. The most appropriate person to make the leap year, it was you. Elo omru chachamim And Ma'abrim Sashana B'Mzuman law. But we have to only have people that was appointed before. V'lo Shmuel HaKotan Hava. And Tztakia was not Shmuel HaKotan that was not invited. He was invited. Ela Inish Acharina. It was someone else that came without permission. Umachmas Kisufa Ude'ovad. Shmuel HaKotan wanted to save a shame for this man that came without permission. He's going to go down. He says, I did it. He didn't do it. He was one of the 7 people supposed to be there. He did it just to save the shame for someone else. The Gemara brings another example. Rabbi v'Kadorish. Rabbi Yehuda Anossi was sitting in a shiur one time, saying his shiur, v'riach reach shum, and he smelled a strong smell of garlic. Amar mishochal shum yetze. It probably was disturbing the shiur, disturbing the people, or Rabbi Yehuda Anossi himself. He couldn't say the shiur good with such a strong smell. He says, whoever ate garlic should leave the room. Omar the Reb Chia v'yotza. Reb Chia stood up and he left the room. Omdu kulam v'yotza. Everybody left. Reb Chia left, everybody left. Well, there was no shiur that day. Bashachar motzer Reb Shimon baRebbe el Reb Chia. The next morning, Reb Shimon, the son of Rebbe, found Reb Chia. Omar le ata u'shetziarta le'abo. You really agonized my father like this? You came to the shiur with eating, after eating garlic, and you left, everybody else left. That was a big, it was big agony for my father. So Reb Chia answered to Reb Shimon baRebbe, Amar lo lo te'eh kazos b'Yisrael. God forbid, he says, I would never do that. Come to the shiur after eating garlic and disturbing the shiur, he says. But Reb Chia, so he did it also not to shame someone else who did it. He took the shame on himself. So, okay, so now how do Reb Chia mecha gomer law? How Reb Chia would do such a behavior to save somebody else's face? You take upon yourself the shame? Mi Rabbi Meir. You learn from Rabbi Meir. The Tanya, Ma'aser b'isha achas, there was once a woman came to the Beis Medrash of Rabbi Meir. Amra lo, Rabbi, echad mekem kidshani b'bia. One of you made me his wife, mekudeshes, kiddushin through bia, which is that's one of the ways of doing kiddushin, which is chachamim asad to do through bia. But she said one of them. Now, one of you, and if he's not going to say who, though she is an eshes ish, we need to free her. So what they did, Omad Rabbi Meir, because of a get krisus, Rabbi Meir right away stood up and he wrote her a get. The kosher get says, here is your get. If in case I did it, you have it. So when Talmidim saw this, the Rosh Hashiva giving a get, he didn't do that. It says, Omdu kulam v'nosnu. Everybody, all the Talmidim stood up. It doesn't say how many of them, maybe 100 of them. They all wrote a get to her and tell her, if in case one of us, if me, here is a get, remember, you're free from everybody. If anybody did it, you're a free woman now. So obviously, over there was one man who did it, because Rabbi Meir, not to shame him, he knew he's going to give the get. Everybody else going to give a get. This way they save the person's shame. But Rabbi Meir me'echa gomerla. How Rabbi Meir learned to go that far to do such a thing? Mishmuel HaKotan, that's the Shmuel HaKotan. He learned this for Shmuel HaKotan. Shmuel HaKotan was earlier. He was a Tanad, was a Talmud Ron Gamliel. So he learned it from there. The one says, Shmuel HaKotan me'echa gomerla. How do you know such a thing? Remember, she took upon himself such a heat. It says like, I was not invited. He was one of the main dayanim over there. Well, it says Mishchania ben Yechiel. Shchania ben Yechiel, as we're going to see, he was the time of Ezra HaSofer. Vayan Shchania ben Yechiel. Or maybe the word is not Shechania, it's Shechania. I'm sorry, Shechania ben Yechiel. Mibnei Elam. He was from the place Elam. It's the Persian Gulf. Vayomer leEzra. Anachnu mo'alnu be'elokeinu. We did something against Hashem. Meaning a lot of, in this 70 years was a lot of assimilation. A lot of people got married to Goyish women. And va'ato yesh mikveh Yisrael al zois. And he says, there is a way to fix it, meaning we have to give a get to those women and then send them. We cannot rebuild Bayis Sheni with such assimilation. So the Gemara says, was the Raya Shmuel learned from Shechania to behave, not to shame somebody. He was not part of those people that get married to a goita. He didn't have a wife, a goita. But he says, Anachnu, we all, just to make sure that nobody, if you did it, you have to give a get, don't be embarrassed, do it. V'shchenya ben Yechiel mecha gomar lo, and how what Shchenya learned this from, mi Yeshua. D'chsiv, Vayomar Hashem el Yeshua, kum lech, lo mizat hanofel al panecha choto Yisrael. The second city when they went to fight, the first city they came to Eretz Yisrael, there was Yericho, they got it in a miraculous way, no problem, was not one casualty. The second city, the Ai, they started having losses already. And Yeshua started davening to Hashem, what's going on? You promised us we're going to be victorious. Hashem said, what you doing, the Filas Apayim, what you're davening, Choto Yisrael. Somebody's a sinner over here. That's why you're losing. They don't need to daven for me, just get rid of the sinner. If you know somebody said, tell me who is this? Omar Loi, Hashem told him, who do you think, I'm a Yenta? I'm going to tell you who's the sinner. He says, Lech atel gerolas, make a lottery, make a lot, see who's the sinner over here. Yeah. So from that we see that even Hashem didn't want to shame somebody. He says, go find out. We're learning from Moshe, ad ono me'antem. When the month came the first time, Moshe Rabbeinu told people not to go out on Shabbos to collect the month, and some people went out, and it wasn't everybody, but Moshe didn't want to shame those people that went to collect the money. Ad Mosa me'antem. He spoke to everybody. Again, we see from here, try always not to hit personally somebody and shame him. We'll see all this from here. I have to be careful, not only with people, even with the bread. That's why we by El Seder we cover the matzah when we say something on the wine, not even to shame the bread.